When most people think of gargoyles, they see Goliath, the tall, proud head of the Manhattan Group, the brave one, the guard, the one with the deep voice and firm right way. But what if I told you the most interesting, most unsafe, and most sad figure in the whole show was not the brave one at all? For over 1,000 years, one gargoyle has fought a private fight against people, planning, tricking, and living through lies, spells, and deals that would make Game of Thrones look weak. She has been a fighter, a lover, a parent, a lawbreaker, and a foe, and she has lived past them all. Her name is Demona, and her tale does not just cover long years. It is still going on right now, thanks to a new Gargoyles comic short run from Greg Wisman and Frank Power. Her story is not just going on, it is bursting with new facts we have never known before. We are talking whole lost parts of her life at last being shown, fights in old Britain, deals with Vikings and French magic men, a taken-in human child, and the hard chase for the Eye of Odin. By the time you end this film, you may just see Demona in a whole new way, and maybe even start to ask, was she truly the foe or the last sad half-hero? And if you want to watch her first climb and fall again, you can look at the Gargoyles DVDs I put below in the note. It is the best way to watch the show and catch all the times you lost. Also, these deep looks take hours to check, write, speak, and cut. So, if you like this kind of stuff and want to see more, you can drop a big thanks right here on the film. Every coin helps keep the page going, so I can keep bringing you these big old memory breakdowns. The time that really marks Demona is not the drop of Castle Wyvern. As sad as that was, it is the spell. After the ruin of her house and the loss of her group, Demona made a last unsafe deal with the last man, you would think. The magic man and fighter who would turn into her greatest friend foe Macbeth. The rules were as odd as they were tight. Neither could die unless the other did. They were, in one way, tied together for all time. At first, it looked like the Bastille of strength. She would never have to fear age, sick, or sword. Her foes could cut her down 1,000 times, and she would always stand again. But the truth, it turned into a long, dark dream. Think of it. Life without end is not free. It is a jail you hold inside your own skin. She could never find rest, never grow old soft, never truly win. Because no matter what, Macbeth was still out there someplace alive, which meant she would be too. Their tie was less like a gift and more like a set of ropes, pulling them both through time whether they wished it or not. And over time that, life without end started to shift her, not just in body, but in mind. The Demona Hoons fought hard for her people, become colder, older. Every lie, every fight, every loss, she held aloft it with no way out, no stop. Think of living long enough to see the same human errors happen again and again. Touch the children of your foes grow while your own kind faded. Question for you. If you were made to live 1,000 years seeing the world shift while all you love at last dies, how long would it take for you broke? And here's the truly scary part. While Goliath and Therist of the Manhattan Group slept through those long years in stone, Demona stayed awake. Which means the next piece off her tale is not just about staying alive. It's about what she did with that time. And trust me, it's darker than you think. Go on. Without me, you would still be growing moss. No. Goliath, while her old group slept in stone, stuck in time for 1,000 years, Demona walked the earth alone. There were no group talks, no wise ones to lead her, no friends to cool her rage. She had full rule, full freedom topic, her road. But without Thelemites of friends, there was also no one to block her, no one to keep hair in line. And with each passing 10 years, the small chance off making peace with Goliath and the Manhattan Group slid more and more away. So what did she do with this endless time? She made a pick that would shape the rest of her life without tend. She called war, not on a foe gargoyle group, not on an enemy who had hurt her, but on a whole race, people as a whole. In her thoughts, people had broken her home, killed her kind, and spoiled the world with wanton harm. She did not just want payback. She wanted to make sure people could never hurt another gargoyle again. And if that meant wiping them out fully, then let it be. The new Gargoyles, Demona comics from Dynamite, At last, let us see these lost hundreds of years in sharp film-like show. Free Comic Book Day 0 sets the mood with one scary line. Payback. 10 hundreds of years in the making. We see Demona cutting her road through time, making harsh deals with Viking raiders, setting smart trades with clever French spell users, and chasing gold relics that could tilt the scale of might for all time. Among them, the famed Eye of Odin, a magic thing with the might to change it shorter. Every step she took was planned. Every deal was a way-to the end. And when those friends stopped buying of use, she did not wait to turn on them. To Demona, faith was based on gain. Trust was short. Anleys were simply part of the play. This was not wild mess. This was not mindless ruin. This was called clear plan, the kind you can only shape when you have long years to think. She watched her foes, found their weak spots, and hit where I hurt most. And yet, here's the strange truth. Hidden under all the blood in rare short times wearu, see something not expected, a spark of kindness, a small sign of unsure thought, even a readiness to guard the human life under the right terms. Physimal breaks in her shield are what Makia, so without end interesting, because the next part in her tale shows Addern so odd. So against El she has fought for that, it makes you ask all you think you know about. Demona. The new Gargoyles Demona short series does not just dropping a few lost, it breaks open the long gap in her past, showing you clear how she grew from a sore fighter into a near godlike form of payback. It starts in the year 1093, with Demona moving through the wild lands of Britain. A life without tend, outcast hurt be her own. Picks. She is not the loud, sure foe we would see in the 1990s drawn show yet. Here, she is a being in change, always on the go, staying away from both people and other gargoyles, and quietly making the skills and links she will later use to bring war. By 1107, her road has brought her to the cold, harsh coasts of Scandinavia, where she finds herself in the middle of Viking rule, and she plays the play like a pro. She makes deals with chiefs and fighters, using their want for land to push Huron ends. These are not soft ties. They are planned trades where Esh swaps her strength and guard force, all while keeping one eye on the wide view. The slow breaking off people's grip on the earth. And then in 1138, something comes that feels almost not real for the Demona we think we know. She takes in a human girl named Angelica. This is the same Demona for long years will say that people are not able to change. Yet here she is taking in a child of the same group shades. The books do not hide from the stress of this bond. You see times where Demona's care for Angelica looks true, guarding even soft, but always darkened by hurty pate for the world Angelica part of it. Is never sure if Angelica truly loved, for who she is or if she's a piece in some deeper, more harsh plan. The mixed right and wrong is what makes this part of Demona's leaf so strong. By 1195, the field shifts once more. Demona is in France, standing next to a skilled spell user, as they search for one of the most strong magic things in the Gargoyles world, the Eye of Odin. This is not just a prize search. It is themed point of many years of plans, lies, and ghostly moves. The hunt is high risk, unsafe, and full with the kind of right-wrong trades that have come to mark Demona's life. Through each of these times we see the same mark show. Demona can be a guard, a friend, Avona mother role, but only as long as those parts help her last aim. That time, someone's help ends or their ideas clash with hers. She's ready to cut the tie without. It's this non-stop back and forth of trust and trick, kindness and harshness that makes her one of the most deep characters in the whole Gargoyles story. And it's also the best way into the next part of her tale because there are tubins in her life that go against all her usual rules, to links she can't just drop or break, no matter how hard she tries. If there's one thing that shows Diani's in just a flat ven, it's the fact that two bonds in her life have lasted for ages. Not because they're good or easy, but because they're too strong. Tover really be cut. Those twirlings are with Goliath and Macbeth. With Goliath, the bond began in fires of fight. They fought side by side in 10th Age Scotland guarding Castle Wyvern and the humans who lived there. There was shared respect, shared fights, and though they never clearly said it, a tie that went to Perth and plain friendship. For a while, it looked like they could have been real partners. not just in fight, but in life. But the fall of Castle Wyvern, Deona's choice to leave the clan and save herself, was a hurt Goliath never fully let go. Over the wages, that hurt grew, turning what might have been love into something darker. A wild mix of spite, sorrow, and quiet want. When they meet in the now, time their talks are sharp. Part fight field test, part lovers fight, part idea clash over what their kind should be. Goliath is what Demona could have been if she had left her hate. Deona sees in Goliath a non-stop sign of the road she chose not to take. Then there's Macbeth, a bond even stranger, even more twisted, tied by a magic deal that made them live forever. They are rejoined in a way no other beings could get. Neither can die, unless the other does. On paper, it's the top smart game. They're unhurt long as they both live. In truth, it's a curse. Their shared life has made them friends, foes and unwilling mates in same shared at times. They fought side by side against same threats. A deadly pair woes skill and mind make them near and beat. Other times, they've chased each other like prey, trying to end their shared curse once and for all. What's deep is that they know each other better than anyone else ever could. Not because they want to, but because they've been forced to meet again and again, a Jefter age. With MCBTH, there's no love tale, but there is a strange kind-of closeness. They've seen each other at their best and their worst. They've shared wins, tricks, and losses that no one else alive could ever recall. And while they might wish to end one another, there's an odd respect that stays between them. The kind born not from love but from staying alive. These two ties, one made on care, turned to fight. The other on a shared path that feels like both a link and a chain are what make Deona hard to fully blame or fully excuse. They're the proof that even after 1,000 years, there are parts of her that still feel, still think back, and maybe deep down, still wish. And that brings us to the real ask. Not if Demona has done bad things. She has. But if she's truly past saving, could 1,000 years of anger ever be undone? Or is she fated to stay always in the space between helper and foe? What would you do? Catch him for human law. He'd be out of jail and back on the roads in a day. Of course, no deep look on Deona would be full without talking about the sound that made her so hard to forget. That strong leading voice that could move from cold dislike to deep hurt in one line came from no one else but Marina Sirtis. Yes, that Marina Sirtis, better known to sci-fi fans as Guide Diana Troy from Star Trek Next Group. Sirtis didn't just read Deona's words, she lived them. Greg Weisman has said that she gave a royal power to her role, but also the deep feelings to make us feel the hundreds of years of hurt and anger boiling under the face. In talks, Sirtis said that Deona was one of her best-loved parts because she could let go in ways she never could as the calm and kind Troy. Here's a fun bit of fact. Gargoyles really became a small Star Trek meet behind the mic. Marina Sirtis, Deona, Jonathan Frakes, Xenitas, Brent Spiner, Puck, Michael Dorn, Cold Stone, and more all gave their sounds to the show. So, when you watch Deona talk fight with Xenitos, you're really hearing a next group clash with wings and claws. Look-wise, Deona's shape changed from early idea art, where she was first drawn with darker skin and other armor. Her last shape with red-haired, dark blue skin. And the known gold extras was meant to make her easy to tell from the rest of the group and stress her free will. That flash of red hair wasn't just for style. Drawers used it to make her moves easy to spot, even in quick fight scenes. And here's one more thing you might not have seen. Deona almost never shuts her eyes when she's talking to a human. It was a planned draw pick to make her seem more sharp, hunting, and scary. A being who sees humans as food, not equals. These behind-the-scene bits, from the strong voice play to her small draw signs, are a big part of why Deona left such a strong mark on fans, and they make the thought of her saving or her last fall even more gripping. So, now that we know the story, the curses, the ties, and even the sound behind her, we're left with one last ask. Is Deona a foe to the core? Or has there always been a part of her still good to save? So, here's the big ask. Is Demona truly the bad one story shows her as, or is she the most sad person in the whole Gargoyles world? Was she always fated to walk the road of payback? Or was there a time, a single weak turning point where her end could have been other? If the Manhattan Group had met her faster, if Goliath had found the right words, the right time to get her to let go of her hate, could she have stood with him as a friend instead of against him as a foe? Could Demona have been a hero in her own self, a guard of both gargoyles and humans? Or was the hurt of trick cut so deep in her that she could never truly pardon, no matter how much time went by? That's what makes her tale so without end gripping. There's no easy reply. For every bad act she's done, there's a sight of someone who once fought for something greater than self. For every bond she's tricked, there's a time where she's shown faith or even care. And for every life she's ended, there's the ghostly maybe that under other paths she could have saved just as many. I want to hear your views. Drop your thoughts in the notes. Do you think Demona is past saving? Or do you think there's still a part of her that could be touched? And if you've read the new Gargoyles Demona books, tell me your best time from them. I might show your note in a later video. If you want to feel her full tale for your own self, from the first drawn show to the brand new tales filling in the lost years, I've put both the books and the first Gargoyles DVDs down below. You'll see every rise, every fall, every choice. That built her 1,000-year trip. And if you liked this deep look and want to help me keep making more shows just like this one, you can drop a super thanks right here on the show. Every single one makes a true change in keeping this page going and helps me bring you even more behind-the-scenes lore, lost story, and shocking truths from the tunes we grew up with. Because, in the world of Gargoyles, the night is ours. See you next time.